eyes and breathe deeply. Ground and center. Relax and continue to breathe deeply and slowly. Somewhere in the back of your mind or in a secret area of your being, there is a word. Maybe it's your secret name for yourself, or maybe it is a part of a mantra or phrase that grounds you or takes you to your place of mystery and power. Whatever that word is, that phrase, say it to yourself in your mind now as you reflect on its special meaning for you. For no matter how long that has been, your entire life, or since you became a walker of these ways, or just since you began with me here and now, say this word to yourself 3 times, continuing to relax, breathe, and trust me. You are standing on a lonely country-like road on a dark, nearly moonless night. Behind you, from where you came, is the faint outline of a village and the dim glow of lights on its streets. You walk away from the town, on a road with trees and meadows that lead down a hill and further away. The road is not paved, but is smooth enough to walk easily. And although it is night, the thin crescent of a moon gives enough light to see you as you make your way. Everything is peaceful, quiet. A few night birds chirp and crickets occasionally can be heard as you walk along. The incline is slightly downward, and as you walk, you may feel you are stepping deeper and deeper into your own subconscious. You are in a light and receptive state now. And as you look around at your surroundings, you realize you have come to a crossroads where 3 different directions may now lead you. Take a moment to look around and let the atmosphere wash over you. Continue breathing and relaxing as you listen to my voice. As you look more keenly at the roads that cross in this place, you also notice that just to one side there is a light or a lantern, and standing beside it are 3 women. And although they seem to be normal women, you have never seen them before. You walk closer towards them and notice that they are dressed very similarly, but are of different ages, with one being young, an older woman who looks like a mother, and a woman who is somewhat older, with graying hair, but a very lively look in her eyes. Although they seem approachable, something holds you in reserve. You stand a distance from them and watch. They seem to be standing around a large pot or cauldron with a steady but low fire beneath it. There is a faint trail of steamy vapor rising from the cauldron as the woman in the middle, the mother, slowly stirs it. The women on either end, the young one and the old, are staring towards the distance of each road that crosses the one you came upon. At last, from the east, where the thin moon is casting its light, a dark, robed figure comes forward to the women, and extending its hand, drops 3 dark crow feathers into the cauldron. As the mother stirs the feathers into the brew, the vapor seems to glow with an unexpected yellow hue. The figure from the east moves to stand behind the women, facing the cauldron. After moments of quiet eeriness, a figure also dark and hooded comes from the south to stand before the women and their cauldron. Again, a hand is extended to drop the dried shedded skin from a large serpent or snake, and you hear the crackle and see sparks of red as the cauldron is stirred and the skin blends into the strange brew. After a few moments, the figure joins the first one behind the women in the cauldron. For what seems like an eternity, all is silent, and it seems to grow darker. Only the faint sounds of the cauldron being stirred seem to interrupt the solitude. Then, far from the west, where no longer any trace of the sun setting can be seen, just the tiniest ribbon of purplish red, comes another robed, dark, and hooded figure. And this one seems taller and thinner, and walks up to the cauldron to stand behind the three women, before the three women. It slowly extends a hand to drop a tiny moonstone, shaped like a frog or toad, into the brew, and the vapor seems to change to a pale, blue-like green. As the cauldron stirs and bubbles, this figure too joins the rest. After a few more moments, the figure from the north arrives. This figure looks in your direction for a moment or two, but you cannot see the face, as it is hooded in dark like all the rest. A pale, stone-like arm reaches toward the cauldron. The clenched hand opens to show a hound's tooth, large and pointed, probably lost in a hunt. It too is offered to the women in their cauldron, and the figure then also takes its place alongside the others. After a few moments of stirring, the cauldron is set to rest. All the women and other figures seem to fade or step backwards slightly away from the cauldron. You feel a silent awe, a deepening within yourself, as somehow you find yourself moving closer to the cauldron with its many hues of vapors rising. Although you are not quite over it, the aroma seems to envelop you, and you awaken to a voice or presence within your soul. The cauldron represents the world that awaits you, composed of many things, tools and aspects of nature, the symbols of transformation, and the reawakening that you may be seeking at this time. We all stand at a crossroads, and from each of the sacred familiars of the triple goddess, we may find ourselves and how we can exist together. Now awaken and listen to my words. Come forth, listen, for having gone through the journey of the cauldron, we all can see through magical eyes. Listen and see with the essence of other magical creatures, other magical beings, each of us. From her sacred crows, or any feathered friends, we can use wisdom and intellect, knowledge and vantage point to understand or broaden involvement. From her fiery serpents, snakes, and other lizards, we use the energy, the ability to conserve and collect, and to use wisely when necessary to forge our wills and to help others forge their own. From her watery frogs, toads, and other nebulous aquatic and amphibious beings, we find ways to see more from our hearts and intuitive wells of water. Our own deep pools of reflection allow us to discern all approaches, all possible answers, all possibilities. Finally, from her guardian hounds and all other four-footed friends of woman and man, we use strength under will, love over power, care over chaos, to be reasonable but not overly righteous, So mote it be.
I can hear the old crone call in the dark still nights of fall. Gaze upon her ancient face, feel the winter's cold embrace. Walk along the barren land, take a hold her icy hand. Walk along through snowdrifts deep, all the earth appears asleep. This is not a time to mourn, all that's dead shall be reborn. Winter's winds will lose their might, thawed with a return of light. As the seasons move ahead, Grandma Spider spins her thread. So again the light of day allows the night to have its way. I can hear the old crone call in the dark still nights of fall. Gaze upon her ancient face, feel the winter's cold embrace.